are producing an interesting movie.
Yeah,
And that's called Men.MeetMenopause. And
yeah.
you're dragging us men live and kicking. You're driving out a subject that's in so many cases taboo. You're pulling it out from underneath the blanket into the spotlight. Why? Tell us more. It's fascinating.
So I had no plan. I made a comedy years ago, and I had no plans of making another movie. And I always explain it as there's a story that Michael Jackson once said, and he said when he was sleeping, he was woken up in the middle of the night with lyrics in his head, but he was too tired to write them. So when he went back to sleep, he heard a voice saying, "If you don't write them, I'm going to give them to Prince." So Prince was my idol. So I was like, oh my God, what is this story? And he basically got up and he wrote the song, and it was the Earth song. And I feel like it's the same with this film. I had no plans to make it, wasn't really bothered, but doors just kept opening. And it was like either you're going to make this or it's going to go to somebody else. And because everyone started saying yes, and hotels were giving me free locations, I was getting a free studio from my friend. People like you were saying yes, Dr. Louise Newson, Marisa Pierce. I was like, okay, I obviously need to do this. So it wasn't even a passion project. I feel like somebody's using me to make this. But what I wanted to do is the reason I wanted to do it about men is because I was sitting in a party once, and a lot of women were talking about menopause. Then the husbands joined in, and I realized us women is not going to make any difference talking and talking. The husbands need to get involved, and they started explaining how they felt, what they didn't understand. So I realized, as well as the men thinking women are crazy, a lot of women were going, I hate my husband, he doesn't understand me, because neither is talking about it. And
Yes.
because I think this is the first generation that's really going, what is going on? You know, both husband and wives need to come together. And that's how it happened. It literally was a complete, like, okay, a little project, let's try it. And then it just blew up.
That's amazing. When you're saying that, it reminds me of some of the statistics that I've seen about the high divorce rates within the menopause years, and correlation and causality, right? Like I've even seen as high as in the 70s, like something like 73% of women who got divorced during that period of time attributed menopause in some way to their divorce. And when you think about the lack of communication and the lack of understanding and the confusion and the mental pain and the physical pain, all of those things and that it seemingly comes out of nowhere for women because they weren't prepared for this. It's not actually a surprise that it can impact relationships. It's not a surprise that it can even dissolve relationships. And I just think that there's so many of these relationships that have ended that didn't have to.
So
If
I
the
have
if the
three I have three family members, all women who initiated a divorce in their late 40s, all had the
Yeah,
same symptoms of crying, I hate my husband. I didn't have the knowledge then what was going on, and I'm convinced it was because of the menopause. And
yeah.
as part of the film, I do have a lawyer who basically started the menopause project, where she saw that it was during a certain age a lot of women were coming in for divorces, and she put two and two together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So is this movie, and I know a little bit about it for obvious reasons, but I have to ask you this question. Is it a serious take? Is it a humorous take? How are you blending in these
So every
someone
every
like
time
Dr. Louise Newson to a little bit of humor?
Okay, so every time I watch anything to do with menopause, it just makes me depressed. Like, where is the light at the end of the tunnel? And I thought the only way to get men and even young people, a lot of teenagers, especially teenage girls, still don't even know what it is. I needed to add some humor. And I've always added humor in every TV show I've done, but not to the point that it takes away from the information. So in the film, I decided, if I can swear a little bit, to play myself, but an extreme version, which was a boss bitch director going through perimenopause. And she has two male assistants who annoy the hell out of her. So these, between us, we're doing sketches in between all the information that we get. Because I didn't want women to look at it and go, oh my goodness, so we've got like 30, 40, 50 symptoms. What is there to look forward to? And at the end of the day, life is difficult the older you get, it's not easy. And there are some things you just need to laugh about because there's nothing you can control. You're going to go through it. So let's try and do it in a fun way where possible, but not obviously negate the seriousness of it too.